Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to the online video class session of political science. So, my dear students, so let us discuss about the sociology fourth semester, which is titled as the research design. So, in the part of research design, we have been discussing about the research design. So, here today, let us discuss about the various steps in the research. So each and every research has the various steps. The various scholars are worked on the steps towards the research. But after considering the various research scholars' ideas, and we can get a clear-cut picture about the steps which are involved in the research steps. So let us discuss about the research steps in a detailed manner. So I was prepared a PPT for your convenience. So based on the PPT, I'll try to explain the full concept. So my dear students, listen carefully, and if you have any doubts, so bring to my notice. So, so my dear students, this is about uh, the fourth semester paper. It is titled as a research methodology. So in the part of that, there are various chapters we need to discuss, but in the part of the various chapters, we have been discussing about the first unit. So here, the first unit titled itself as the social research. So in the social research, there are various, today let us discuss about the various steps in the social research, okay? So So the steps in the social research is explains about the various scholars in different manner. But by interpreting all the different scholars' views, we can identify the various kinds of steps in the research. So let us discuss one by one about the systematic steps which are playing an important role or which are involved in the process of the research. So such as the formulation of the research problem, a review of literature, formulation of hypothesis, and research design, and the universe of study, determining of sample design, administering the data collection and analysis of data, report writing. So these are all we need to discuss in a detailed manner. So my dear students, this is one of the most important question and the most important process for each and every research. These are the steps must and should follow as a research scholar. Otherwise, the research design will be not come the output in a clear manner. So, so let us discuss one by one in a systematic manner. So first of all, the first step of the research is the formulation of the research problem. So here, each and every research has to be have some kind of problem. As a researcher, each and every research, particularly in the social sciences, the research begins with the problem. So here the problem which is needed, the solution. So that is why for the solution, the research will start by the researchers. While selecting the problem of research, the social scientists are likely to be influenced by their own personal values as well as the prevalent social conditions. So it means that the researcher must and should have a kind of knowledge about that particular problem or about that particular issue. Then only you can tackle the issue in a systematic manner. And behind that, the researcher must and should have their own personal values about that the social conditions of that particular area wherever we want to continue the study. And as a scientist or as a social scientist or as a research scholars, this is different. The differ regard with the values and societies in respect of their preferences. So here, in each and every society, the aspects are different from one society to another society. the conditions are different from one society to another society. Here, as a scientist, as a researcher, the different kinds of values of the particular society have to be uh, have to be very in a wide manner. Then the researcher has to be understand that particular vast area by applying the research problem and or by identifying the research problem. So then only it can give a clear cut solution to that particular problem. So if you take any case, in any cases, the formulation of problem is arising out of the theoretical situation or the practical concern. So that is why the formulation of problem is not a simple task. It is one of the toughest tasks. So that is why Merton has identified. R.K. Merton has one of the social researcher or social scholar. He has mentioned three important questions as their principal components, so which are involved in the process of the formulation of the various problems, like what what one want to do or one want to know, and why he want to know or seek that particular answer to that question, and in what may help the possible answer to be the question. So these kind of questions may arise or formulated by the researcher as per the situation. So this is the formulation of the research problem, and each and the second step of the research is the review of the literature. Here, the review of the literature explains about the previous studies. So it is very significant or very important to each and every research. The, the since an effective research, which is outcome based on the past knowledge, and the investigator must always take an advantage of such kind of knowledge which have been preserved or accumulated by the others in earlier. So it helps to understand the various areas about that particular study. So the review of literature related implies the analysis of the summary of the writings of recognized authorities or earlier researchers in a particular area. So that particular area, the research is done by the other scholars. So a kind of material review you can find in the form of literature. So that literature is in the form of articles, beings can, only human beings can, so only human beings uh, can preserve their knowledge in the books, or that books are we can found in the libraries. So unlike other animals, on the earth no animal like human beings or preserve the knowledge in the books. So that is why the review of literature is found in the form of books. So it the man or the individual or the human beings can build up their accumulated knowledge, and that may be recorded knowledge of the past. So the books are the recorded knowledge of the past. We can conclude that the books are the recorded knowledge of the past of the individuals or the human beings or about their society, their culture, whatever it may be. So it is accumulated and recorded knowledge of the past of the human beings. So that is why each and every research is must and should have the review of literature. Then only the researcher can understand in a depth manner of the particular study or a particular problem. So then the formulation of hypothesis. Here, the formulation of hypothesis. First of all, what is hypothesis? Hypothesis being study on a particular socio-economic conditions of tribal people. Okay, so here the hypothesis is the imagination why their social or economical condition is backwarded, or why their socio-economic condition is very low with compared to the normal people or general people. So there may be a lack of education. So the lack of education, maybe the lack of education is one reason. So the reasons, whatever the reasons are cause to that their backwardness, is called the hypothesis. So hypothesis means an imagination about that particular topic, or about that particular the problem from the propositions. Then the next is the, the assumption or the hypothesis about that particular prepositions. And the formulating of hypothesis, the researcher here gathers information from the several sources, such as existing theories, previous reports of previous reports of research, or concerning analogous problems, so information from the knowledgeable persons, or researchers' own beliefs and insights. So here the hypothesis or we can get from these sources. So the hypothesis sources are the existing theories, previous reports, research analogs, or research problems. So like this, here the hypothesis is nothing but it is an imagination statement, or imagination statement about that particular problem. So some are the hypothesis testing studies, and some other hypotheses are formulating the studies. The exploratory studies are called hypothesis formulating studies, because such research end up with formulation of hypothesis. So that is why the exploratory studies are called hypothesis formulating studies. So the experimentation takes place between the independent variable and with the combination of independent variable and the dependent variables. So the independent variable is depends upon the other variables like dependent variables. So there is a indivisible link between the independent variable and the dependent variable. Then only the outcome or the output is uh, come out. So that is about the formulation of hypothesis. And whereas after completion of the formulation of hypothesis or a review of literature, after completion of identifying the problem of the study, and regarding review of literature, and there may be a kind of hypothesis, the next step is the design, the research design. So here the research design is nothing but it is an organized